Ben and Jen police have arrested and charged 19-year-old Jaziah Smith with murder. He was arraigned in court today where he faced a judge for his charges. Police say this past Saturday, detectives were able to identify the shooter and got an arrest warrant. The warrant was signed by a judge charging 19-year-old Jaziah Smith with murder. This morning, Smith was taken into custody and is held on a $1.75 million bond. Smith is accused of shooting and killing 3-year-old Randell Jones on Nelson Street April 10th, shortly before 2:30 in the afternoon. Police say Smith pulled along the passenger side of the car carrying Jones, his 2 siblings, their mother, and an adult passenger. Smith allegedly shoots at the car. That bullet ends up going into Jones, who was not the intended target, and instead it was meant for the front seat passenger. Family members telling Fox 61 the mother was just bringing her children to meet up with their father for ice cream. Not long after that, another homicide took place on Magnolia Street behind a 2-family home, killing 16-year-old Jamari Preston. Last Monday, a large vigil was held for Jones. Reverend Henry Brown expressed his disgust for the ongoing gun violence.
You go over Magnolia Street, you see a memorial. You go down here on the corner of Capon Street, you see a memorial.
Mayor Bronin even becoming emotional at what his city has become.
If you know anything about what happened this weekend, please share it. But not just what happened this weekend. If you know somebody that you're worried might decide to pick up a gun and pull a trigger, share that too.
Their message that night, urging people to stop hiding information as it could lead to closure for families. That same day, Hartford Police Chief Jason Thody announcing the shooting deaths of Jones and Preston were connected, but could not state more details. Last Friday, new details were revealed. Chief Thody saying 2 cars believed to be connected to the 2 homicides were found burned in Hartford and South Windsor on Burgess Road, not far from the town's public works building. The location of the car in Hartford is unknown. Most recently, the family of Jones holding a 2-day fundraiser in his memory, the money raised going towards funeral expenses. And police will be holding a news conference in about half an hour with more details on the arrest. I'll have a more updated report coming up at 5. I'm live in Hartford. Carmen Chow, Fox 61 News.